Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or for those of you in different parts of the U.S. or the world, good evening or even good morning. My name is Mike Van Newkirk, and if you can jump to the next slide. I'm from Ipsos. I'm a global head of vehicle quality there, and I'm also a SAA board member. We're really excited that you're joining us today for our latest Lunch and Learn session. This one is specific to insights on the future of mobility. It's coming from a study at Ipsos called the Ipsos Navigator Study. We'll share a little bit more detail on its background and history and content in a moment. But before we do that, Finn, to the next slide, please. I want to share with you a little bit of details about SA itself and basically the value that we're trying to bring to the industry as a whole. So it really is centered around providing members, automotive analysts, and others of interest, different events across the scope of the auto industry, things that are current topics or relevant information that would be helpful for our members in their endeavors. It really provides direct and personal access to industry leaders within our organization and ones that we're bringing in to participate in our events, as well as key opportunities to network and interact with influencers in the space. The SAA is actually made up of a wide variety of different organizations. So we have representatives that are part of OEMs, automotive suppliers, information and data providers, as well as analysts that support the industry in different ways from sectors like legal, finance, the government, even nonprofits. All of this is really essentially to try to help all of us be more informed and integrated as we're working in our industry. If you're interested in learning more about SAA, you can go to our website. It's saaauto.com. In a slide or two, you'll see actually a little icon that you can do an image of it. It'll be a link into the website as well. Next slide, please. I do want to thank our corporate sponsors. As you can see, they're listed here on the slide, and there's different sponsorship levels for how you want to participate as an organization contributing to all that we do as the SAA. Without them, we would really be hard pressed to be able to bring the kind of events and services and the different kinds of information that we're able to. So it's to their credit and to great thanks to all of them that we're able to expand and grow in the way we have over the past several years. SAA sponsorship really is a great way to get involved. It's cost effective and it really brings a lot of unique and sort of targeted ways for you to interact with your colleagues and your counterparts in the industry. So if you are interested in more about SAA, if you actually are interested in sponsorship, we'd love to chat with you. You can reach out to myself or to any of the board members. Go to the website. We'd love to see you join us for the future. Next slide, please. I do want to mention some upcoming events. So the first one or the next one coming up is on December 5th. We'll be having a morning with Schaeffler, which is the outcome of a merger of Tesco and Schaeffler joining together. They're now the 14th largest automotive supplier in the world. And joining us will be Mark McGrath, the CEO, and Jeff Hemphill, who's the CTO, and they're going to share with us the company's vision, what their plan is, their outlook for the next 5 years or so. And really, as they're moving from more of a traditional bearings producer to one of the leaders in electric and traditional mobility. So should be an exciting session to learn more about a up and coming growing organization at Schaeffler. On the 10th, we'll be doing our next coffee break. This is going to be from Plant Moran, and they're going to share with us a quick sort of 15-minute overview about how suppliers are adapting to automakers as they're scaling back some of their EV programs. So we'll get into the financial challenges, the competitive pressures, emerging opportunities that this is presenting to our industry. And then finally, and very notably, is the next Automotive Outlook Conference, which is on January 29th. So put that on your calendars. This is one of our biggest events every year. We've got a great lineup of speakers and being set up. So we hope that you can join us for that event. That's an in-person event. And certainly we'll have more announcements for more events coming up in the coming days and months as we get set for the 2026 year. All right, next slide. All right, so with that, I'm actually going to hand the discussion over to my colleague, Graham Gordon. Graham is the Director of Automotive and Mobility Development from the Ipsos US office. He's going to act as today's host. You'll see him again later as well to doing a Q&A session at the end. So Graham, off to you.
Thanks, Mike. Hello again, everyone. As Mike said, my name is Graham Gordon. I'm a director within our automotive service line here in the US. I'm based in Detroit. I'm here with a couple of colleagues of mine out of our Germany office, as Global does have Ipsos has a global footprint, and Germany has an auto sector team in that region as well. Joining me today is Thomas Wojcik, Germany's automotive lead, and Finn Kukuk, senior insights consultant for the group. I want to thank you first for joining, but also I want to thank SAA for this opportunity to present today. They've been a great partner in this. This is definitely not our first webinar. I hope it's not our last, and I'm happy to be back in front of you all to talk about the industry. The information you'll be hearing about today comes from our Navigator study. This is an ongoing study that Ipsos has conducted for over a decade. It's a really, really good look at what new car buyers think about the disruptive trends within the industry, mostly at a macro level, as well as how it's changed over time. Before we start, I want to note that we will have a Q&A portion at the end, so please feel free to add your comments into the chat, and I'll be monitoring it throughout the course of the webinar, and we will actually answer those questions in real time near the conclusion of this event. Any questions that we don't get into, we'll try and answer via email in a timely manner. But please, in the meantime, please sound off. It's a great opportunity to learn more about the potential futures we're seeing here in the industry, as well as letting your voice be heard. With that, Thomas and Finn, I'll pass it off to you.
All right, yeah, thank you very much, Graham, for this introduction. And yeah, good afternoon or even good evening, everyone, also from my side. Yeah, as mentioned, today we want to dive into the latest results from our 2025 Ipsos Navigator study to understand the trends shaping the future of mobility. So for today's session, we have structured our webinar into 6 sections. We will begin by setting the stage with the new automotive climate of 2025, looking at economic uncertainties that might influence the consumer. Then we will analyze the evolving powertrain landscape. In section 3, we will explore what we call the persistent plateau of BEV stagnation, and from there we will look at the alternatives in the path to electrification. We will then broaden our view to other technologies, driving technologies, vehicle features, and also overall brand metrics, and finally summarize everything that we have discussed today in our key takeaways for the road ahead. So let's begin by setting the stage. Before we talk about powertrains, we would like to understand the world of the consumer, which are they living in right now. So 2025 is defined by a significant economic headwind, I would say, and trade uncertainties, of course. And this is critical because it's might influence the decisions the consumer take. So, and this is not a vague feeling I'm describing here. The latest Navigator data shows that the majority of respondents are actively concerned. On the left, you can see that 43% of consumers are either very or extremely concerned about how global trade issues will affect vehicle availability and pricing. On the right, that concern is even validated by their real world perception. 64% of the respondents perceive that new vehicle prices are already higher or slightly higher than they were last year. So in this sense of economic pressure, the consumer is impacted in their behavior and decision making. So we've just seen that the consumer is feeling some pressure of this economic climate that we all experience, and the critical question is how does that feeling translate into action from the consumer? What are they thinking about it? What they are planning to do? The results of the Navigator study this year paint a clear picture. The consumer is prioritizing certainty and value above else. The number one reaction we have seen in the data is that the consumer tends to shift to domestically manufactured vehicles, which they will actively consider to avoid tariffs that are all over the media. Right behind that, you see a series of I would call it cautious decision statements. I would say 54% of the consumers are willing to hit the pause button on their purchase decision process, and on the other hand, 50% of these respondents will try to buy before prices increase even further. So the takeaway is here that the consumer is actively looking for a safe place in these economic uncertainties. They will either look for domestically manufactured vehicles, or they are trying to postpone their purchases, or even rush to get them done. Overall, the top statement is about a shift in their purchase intention, and the other four statements are all about a probable loss or reduction of purchase. Now, with that economic context in mind, I would like to turn to the core of the Navigator study, the powertrains. So we have seen here that it is not a story of simple growth, but it is a complex, evolving landscape where consumer preferences about powertrains are shifting, and no technology has a clear lead here right now. So before we talk about what the respondents consider, first we need to understand what they are familiar with. How has consumer awareness for these different powertrains changed? In this chart, familiarity with the electrified options is shown, and it is interesting to see that BEVs have now achieved parity with the hybrids. Both are standing at 60% top two box familiarity in the Navigator results. So yeah, this is quite a significant milestone, showing that BEVs are more and more well understood technology, of course. At the same time, yeah, we have a new option in our survey tracking, the range extender, so or simply called the REEF. It starts in our survey with 42% top two box familiarity, and yeah, this is quite interesting because yeah, it highlights there's of course a clear education gap for this rather new technology to the awareness of the or familiarity of the already established powertrains. The REEF is the new alternative on the table, and we will also watch it closely through today's webinar. So all in all, familiarity is quite high for the established powertrains, I would say. But yeah, the interesting question is, of course, how does this familiarity translate into consideration? On the next slide, we will see that the answer is quite complex, of course. We are looking here at a landscape that is shifting internally, but overall there's quite a flat plateau of overall growth. As you can see from the line graph, consideration for both the traditional hybrid and also the plug-in hybrids has softened a little bit in this year's study compared to the previous years. Hybrids are still the leader in this race, but they have dipped from 66% to 62%. And also interesting, the plugins have dropped from 52% to 49%. At the same time, the BEV consideration has held steady, moving from 48% to 50%. We do not see this as a major breakout, though, for the pure BEV, but rather as a sign of stability. In an environment where the other electrified options are losing some consideration, the pure battery electric vehicles are holding quite firm. And this stability of the BEVs have also allowed them to just edge past the plugins in this consideration tracking in the Navigator study. So the key takeaway here is not that one single powertrain is pulling away, but with the BEV consideration being quite stagnant for a third year in our tracking, the question is what really is holding it back. This brings us to the core of this story. The fact that BEV consideration remains a little stuck at the 50% consideration mark, despite a massive development and investment in dozens of new product launches, and this requires a deeper look. So in this section 3, we are going to explore the central idea of, or the central paradox maybe, of the 2025 results. Because on the one hand, we see stagnant consideration rating, but on the other hand, also softening adoption barriers for the battery electric vehicles. Yeah, for years, the industry has rightly focused on solving the big technical barriers of pure electric vehicles. And yeah, it is interesting that these concerns are still very prominent among the consumers. Yeah, as you can see on this slide, recharging time remains the #1 barrier at 41%, followed closely by battery technology, and on the third spot, the driving range still. So these are the classic, well-known issues that we all have well understood. But yeah, another critical or interesting part of that story is that we see a new entry now in this collection of rejection reasons. And this is not a technical reason, it's more from a purely emotional side, so to say, because we have here the statement that has raised to the top of rejection reasons, which is I don't like it. This can suggest a shift in the nature of the battery electric vehicle rejection. So the problem is not really longer just about technical specs that can be fixed with bigger batteries, faster chargers, or longer ranges. It's about a lack of appeal for large part of the consumers. So on the other hand, if the barriers are becoming more emotional, so to say, what about the motivations for adoptions of BEVs? What are the value propositions that are successfully resonating with consumers who are considering BEVs? What we find in this year's data is that we have a consistency what makes BEVs appealing. The primary motivators are really a blend of environmental statements and also practicality statements. At the top of the list, you see the desire to create less pollution, reduce carbon footprint. So both very environmental minded statements. But just as importantly, consumers are also drawn to the everyday benefits for them, so to say. So they like the convenience of recharging their vehicle at home and waking up to a full charged vehicle, and the appeal of skipping maintenance work, so having less oil changes, other service visits. So they really value the less maintenance statement. So this combination of doing good for the environment while also doing good for themselves really remains central for the BEV appeal. And this tells us what it tells us that the fundamental why of BEV motivations is quite strong. But to understand why it isn't breaking through, we need to look at who's listening to these messages, who's listening to these BEV appeal. And if there's one single factor of the current BEV adoption, it can be quite nicely shown here in terms of the generation. So we see a quite clear clear and important picture here on this slide, that the generational divide between the consumers is very stark. So a high 67% of consumers in Gen Y and Gen Z are considering battery electric vehicles. Their attitudes and preference are really shaping the future. And on the opposite of that scale, we have the baby boomers. They really remain the most resistant group, with their consideration being flat for the second year in a row, at 24%. So very interesting on this slide also is to see the acceleration and consideration rates of the Gen X. In one single Navigator year, their consideration has jumped from 38% to 49%, and this is a quite massive increase. It can show that Gen X, who are often really in the peak of their job life and family raising years, are more moving from skepticism to serious consideration of this technology. So they could really represent the next wave of mainstream adopters of the battery electric vehicle technology for the industry. So this tells us that the BEV story is really on this slide a different story for three different generation groups. But what about the consumers that still remain hesitant? Let's now look at the expanding path of alternatives in terms of powertrains that are available to them. Given that many consumers are still not considering pure battery electric vehicles, the role of the so-called bridge technologies remains absolutely important. In this section, we would like to evaluate the role of the plug-in hybrids and introduce the new alternative that is emerging for the consumer, the range extender. So this slide highlights a small reversal from last year's results and an interesting development for 2025. In the 2024 Navigator study, the plugins held the lead in consideration over BEVs, positioning the plugin as really an obvious stepping stone to electrification. This year, as you can see on this slide, this advantage has disappeared. With the consideration dipping from 52% down to 49%, the plugins are now rather tied with the BEVs. This doesn't mean, of course, that plugins have lost relevance. Nearly 50% are still considering, but it does challenge the idea that they can be by default the bridge technology for every hesitant consumer. So having this shift in mind, it forces us to think about a new question. Why has the appeal of the plugins softened? And to answer that, we will look at specific barriers the plugins face in the 2025 Navigator data. Tied for the number one reason, that is for the plugin rejection, is emotional rejection. We have also seen earlier 41% of rejectors say they don't like this approach. yeah, so this shows for a large part of the consumers, bridge or compromise technology, as the plugin could be, is not as desirable. And right alongside that, yeah, we have also familiar technical barriers as battery technology, for example. And yeah, another insightful barriers is specifically the 39% mentioning no available charging infrastructure at home. So yeah, this is quite critical. It highlights that for many consumers, yeah, any vehicle that needs to be plugged in represents a fundamental lifestyle change. And finally, on the on the bottom, the complexity of dual powertrain system also create financial concerns with 35% that worry about uncertain maintenance costs of this technology. So yeah, this shows that plugins face also a complex set of barriers, and yeah, if the plugins are not the perfect bridge technology, what what other technologies are on the rise? So as it is being looked for different solutions to convince these hesitant consumers, a new category is gaining attention. So for the first time in our survey, we explore the range extended EV, or short, the REEF. And of course, it's important to understand what this is and how it's different from a plugin. So just for small reminder, a REEF is always driven by its electric engine, and the small gas engine is not connected to turn the wheels. I put it simply. It exists only as an onboard generator to recharge the battery when it gets low, and one can think of it as a BEV that carries its own emergency backup power, so to say. So as you can see, this technology is still very new to most of the consumers. Only 17% say they know very well, and despite having this low level of deep familiarity, it still already results in 42% consideration. So we have a large gap between knowledge and also the interest, but this tells us that the core concept of it might be very appealing, even to those that do not have this deep familiarity yet, or know all the details about it. So, and this becomes quite clear when we look at the specific problem this technology solves. So when we ask the consumer in the Navigator study about the advantages and disadvantages of the range extender, we really see a clear trade-off here. The value proposition is very powerful, but it's not without its own set of challenges, of course. The promise, is very clear. It's a direct a cure of range anxiety. As you can see on the left, the consumers see it as an offering with a good balance between electric driving and long distance capability, and also they like the ability to use existing gas stations for backup range extender. It is perceived as the perfect solution for the consumer who wants to drive electric, but needs to eliminate the fear of that one long electric trip. However, as you can see on the right, this solution comes with its own set of problems. consumers are concerned about the same issues connected with pure electric vehicles. So we have the battery life again, the potential financial impacts about battery replacement costs, and higher initial purchase prices of the range extender vehicles. So this really positions the range extender as an interesting new option in the expanding path to electrification. They really offer a direct cure for this fear of range anxiety, but they do not erase the cost concerns of the consumer. And to round it off, to understand who this appeals to, I would like to have a look at the different mindsets of the consumer who is considering the different technologies. So here on this slide, we have summarized the different mindsets of consumers choosing these different paths to electrification, really. And if you would like to understand this landscape, we really have to recognize that there are different mindsets among them. So first, on the left on this slide is the BEV considerer. So I would call or frame it as the environmental minded consumer. Their motivations we have seen are driven by the big picture vision of environmental friendliness, and they are trying to buy into or consider the promise, and are also willing to adapt their lifestyle to be part of that mission to become more environmental friendly. In the middle, we have the plug-in considerer. So this consumer is more interested in optimization, I would say. So this is a pragmatic approach, and this consumer wants to save money on fuel, for example, but demands also the freedom to switch between gas and electric at any time. And they are not trying to adopt a fully new electric lifestyle. They are really trying to optimize their current lifestyle. And finally, on the right is the reef considerer. It is the cautious consumer still, I would say. So this group of considerers is excited by the electric driving experience. They also want to reduce the need to go to the gas station, but they are unwilling to accept the risk of range anxiety that might come with a pure BEV. So they want the full BEV experience, but with a safety net in terms of range, what they get from the range extender. To conclude here, and as a key result, there are different messages to be transported for all three groups. The BEV considerer is more motivated by the vision. The plug-in considerer is motivated by the flexible efficiency of this technology, and the reef considerer is really motivated by the electric driving experience without any range restrictions or anxiety. Handing over to Thomas now.
Thank you very much, Finn, and good morning, good evening also from my side. In the remaining time, I will present you some insights beyond the powertrain, and I will focus more on general topics, especially car features as well as new competitors. Both topics were included in our Automotive Navigator Study. So the key points in the next minutes will be: first, I will look at which driver assistant car features consumers truly value today. And second, I will go into more details about the fast emerging competitive set, especially Chinese EV brands, and what drives or blocks their consideration. And finally, I will summarize all results which were presented today and derive the most important points as a takeaway. So please go to the next slide. On this slide, you can see a selection of different driver assistance as well as car features that we have included in our study to evaluate the must-haves from the perspective of car owners as well as car intenders. Of course, we have evaluated much more driver assistance systems and features during the study, but this is a reduced representation for the Q&A webinar. As you can see on this slide, the key results from the data are that must-have systems or features are blind spot warning with 51%, accident avoidance with 45%, emergency service communication with 36%. Rather unnecessary systems or features are an AI assistant with only 32%, or semi-autonomous driving at 30%. So what we can demonstrate is a clear indication that consumers prioritize safety over futuristic autonomy or AI-powered assistance. Based on the next slide, we will have a closer look on Chinese EV brands and their evolution and potential impact on the US market. In the Navigator study, we also reviewed the familiarity and consideration of Chinese EV brands. What we have observed in our data is that a new set of competitors from China is continuously emerging. As you can see on this slide, some portion of the US consumers are familiar with Chinese EV brands already. The highest share of familiarity could be evaluated for MG with 45%, Polestar with 37%, followed by BYD, Great Wall, NIO, as well as XPeng. These results are similar to what we have observed in other countries. From a total market perspective, these are still very low levels of familiarity and awareness for Chinese EV brands, but they are increasing continuously. If you go to the next slide, we also included in the Navigator study the consideration rate. As you can see, the results could be confusing at the first glance. For example, BYD familiarity of 33%, consideration 60%, or for XPeng familiarity only 23%, but consideration of 72%. So what does it mean? It means that the popularity of certain Chinese EV brands is increasing, and we identified a strong correlation in our data. Respondents who are familiar with the Chinese EV brand and have engaged with the brand demonstrate significantly higher levels of consideration. This is a first indication that Chinese EV brands should not be overlooked as competitors in the future. Next slide. On the next slide, you can see the main drivers and barriers of Chinese EV brands from the perspective of the US consumers. So high reputation in their home market, value for money, and a unique or attractive design are the most mentioned arguments for Chinese EV brands. An unknown offering or too less detailed information, uncertain resale value, or high purchase prices due to taxes and tariffs are the key barriers. Next slide. Altogether, and interesting to notice that 61% of US consumers who are currently unlikely to consider Chinese EV brands would be more open to considering them if the car were built locally. And we will see how this figure will develop over time. Next slide. So what are the key takeaways from our presentation? We have highlighted 4 takeaways. First, if you go to the next slide, our data reveals that the interest in battery electric vehicles stagnated. We see a similar BEV consideration between 2024 and 2025. This, although the barriers, for example, range concerns, are eroding through technological improvements. We assume that BEVs have currently reached a threshold that cannot be overcome by optimizing range or charging time as the main barriers. Instead, those who completely reject battery electric vehicles must either be introduced to BEVs on a more emotional level or get alternative powertrains offered. Next slide. And the second takeaway, you know that consumers are faced with a wide range of different powertrains today. The consideration for PHEVs as a go-to alternative is slightly declining, whereas 36% of the consumers see range-extended electric vehicles as a right balance between electric driving and long-distance capability. However, 32% of consumers see the battery replacement cost as a top disadvantage or barrier of range-extended electric vehicles. Therefore, we cannot identify a single definitive path to which powertrain will be the most important in the future. Rather, it is likely that various powertrains will coexist as already today. Next slide. The third takeaway with regard to driver assistance systems, the results of our study clearly show that practical safety solutions are an absolute must-have when purchasing a car. Meanwhile, innovative options as autonomous driving or AI assistance are considered as unnecessary. This does not mean that investment in autonomous driving are not necessary, but selling cars today requires solving current problems. And finally, on the last page, the last takeaway for this day, US consumers show a high level of consideration when they are familiar with Chinese EV brands. Our results show that consumers who are familiar with BYD, for example, would likely purchase a BYD car model in the future. Top reasons for Chinese EV brands are credibility, value, and an appealing design. And although the road ahead for many Chinese EV brands is likely still long, their development should not be ignored. Doing so would be a mistake. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Finn. Thank you, Thomas. Fantastic stuff. We do have some questions in the chat, so I think we can move on to the Q&A right now. One of the first questions I see, I think we can just have some clarification talking about the scope of this study. This is in terms of markets and the base for the questions. Can you talk about, I guess, the structure of the study in a bit more detail? Or at least the results that we have.
Yeah, sure. The Navigator study we conducted in the three main automotive markets, US, Germany, and China, with each market 2,000 respondents. For this presentation here, we focused on the US results only, and to have a clear picture of the results for the US. Overall, we have a robust sample of 6,000 respondents, but can still deep dive into the single markets with a large sample size of 2,000 respondents. The Navigator study in 2025 was fielded during July and August, and was running in parallel in all three markets.
Great, excellent. Okay, so now if we dig through these, this first question, you talked about stagnant BEV consideration, but then we also saw that consumer fears are decreasing. Why isn't solving these issues leading to growth? Finn, I believe you were talking about that one, so I'll start with you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for this question. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's to point this out. It seems to be yeah, like a paradox. As yeah, we are not seeing the move in our results from 48% to 50% as yeah yeah, meaningful full growth. Our data suggests that even the technical barriers are eroding. The challenge has rather evolved. The barriers no longer just a lack of information about technical specs or technical specs itself. It's yeah, becoming a more fundamental and yeah, emotional one. Yeah, a large portion of the respondents say they are not convinced emotionally by this technology. So yeah, it shows that the core problem might have shifted. It's no longer a story about engineering, but it's about conversation, about the appeal, about the identity, and how these vehicles really fit into the consumer life. So therefore, the stagnation isn't a failure in technical engineering, but a signal that also the strategy how to attack this paradox is more by addressing the consumer emotionally and answer their question why they really want this powertrain.
Excellent, thank you. This next question is about the range extended EVs or REEVs. You had introduced them as that kind of additional option. This person is asking if they suffer from the same high cost and battery life concerns of BEVs and PHEVs. What makes them a better bridge technology compared to PHEVs?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. The REEV offers distinct benefits, I would say. So you get the experience as a battery electric vehicle. It's fun to drive, quiet, and you also have this responsive feeling of a pure battery electric vehicle, and you also eliminate the range anxiety factor. So while the plug-in solves, for example, the range problem, there's this battery electric experience compromised. The REEV solves this range problem while preserving the desired electric experience, and therefore we don't see the range extender as a replacement of the plug-in, of course, but a different alternative for the hesitant consumer, so to say. So the plugins are more focused on the fuel flexibility, while the REEV is more linked with the BEV experience.
Sure. And while talking about the BEV experience, do we have any details or any ideas about the impact vehicle performance of BEVs have over ICE engines and PHEVs? Because as we know, one of the advantages of BEVs is that vehicle performance, the acceleration, the handling. What impact has that had on over ICE and maybe PHEVs that are using their gas engine still?
Yeah, we really see that in the results that the respondents are getting appealed by this yeah, this idea of the reef. They really, yeah, are drawn to this yeah, benefit of the reef, in contrast to the other alternative powertrains. So they, yeah, see the consumer really sees value in it.
Mm-hmm. And then on the opposite end, talking about one of the concerns that you highlighted, the idea of the emotional rejection of EVs, the I don't like it. Do we have any information or any theories about why exactly what encompasses that I don't like it emotional rejection of EVs?
Yeah, this seems to be a more yeah, fundamental barrier to be for the consumer. So yeah, it is of course aggregation of all yeah, all the yeah, statements that might be in contrast to considering this powertrain, but this was really yeah, included here to get a feeling for the consumer that is, yeah, really only yeah, only not attracted by this technology at all. And of course also yeah, selecting the other yeah, barriers as well, but having this one statement here to express they are really not convinced yet. They really want to get convinced emotionally, besides all these technical or more technical, financial, economic statements. Graham, are you still on the line?
Apologies, I lost internet there, but I'm back.
Yeah, now you're back.
I think we've got time for two more questions, and I want to make sure we address both of these. And they're both about the Chinese EV brands. The data on the Chinese EV brands, specifically when it comes to, you talked about credibility and value and design. What do you believe is that important lesson that the established US automakers need to take away as they prepare for a future that might actually have those Chinese OEMs involved in the industry in the US market?
Yes, you're completely right, Graham. So from my perspective, the established US car makers can take a lot of information from our presentation. And one point is really the focus as well as the integration of value, design, and credibility as core components of their market strategy and positioning. So Chinese EV manufacturers like BYD, for example, have focused on providing cars that not only offer innovative design and high technological value, but also build consumer trust through credible brand promises, altogether with an attractive price. So for US car makers, embracing a holistic approach that merge these elements will be crucial to staying competitive in the fast evolving automotive market. And from my perspective, the US car makers cannot rely on their name or past achievements alone. They must build EV-specific credibility, deliver highest value to the customer, and a fresh and unique design.
Thomas, I think that's a great point because it actually leads into my second question, which is the Chinese OEMs are 100% BEV globally, right? They don't have a nice engine in many cases. Is there a strategic disadvantage for those Chinese OEMs when you then look at that US or European model of having a mix of ICE and hybrid and BEV within your fleet?
Yeah, so I think there are many disadvantages. Yeah, so first of all, you need time to establish the brand in a market. Yeah, so it's similar in many countries, especially Western countries, and we know it from past examples as Toyota. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to have an established brand in the market. Then you need the overall structure between the dealership, yeah, the workshops, yeah, which has to be included. And I would not say that that we see that the Chinese manufacturers will capture the whole market, yeah. But what we expect is that the Chinese EV manufacturer will gain momentum and increase also step by step their market share, not only in the USA, also in Europe.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Thomas. I believe we're at 1 o'clock, so I think we can call it here. If you have a question that did not get answered, rest assured we will follow up via email as best as we can. And we will also have a recording of this on the Ipsos YouTube channel, and I believe on the within SAA as well. So please keep a lookout for that. In the meantime, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you have at least a couple of data points and learnings that you were able to take away from this and feel a bit more confident about the future, or ready to ask some additional questions and dig deeper. If you have any research needs, of course, please reach out to myself, Thomas, Finn, even Mike Van Newkirk from the front of the presentation. And other than that, have a wonderful day.